Welcome, everybody, to the weekend edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and today we are going to run down all the playoff scenarios that are going to happen for this weekend, what teams need to happen to clinch the playoffs, what teams are facing elimination. We're also going to run down the Week 17 schedule, and so much more. Before we get into it, everybody, please head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, over on X and TikTok. Over at the Huddle Hub Pod, hit that follow button. Over on YouTube, hit that at the Huddle Hub Pod, hit that subscribe button. All of our, oh my gosh, I can't talk today, guys. I can't. This is crazy. Let's start this again. On X, on TikTok, at the Huddle Hub Pod, hit that follow button. Over on YouTube, you're going to hit the subscribe button. That's how you follow on YouTube. And if you're watching on Twitch, well, all of our socials, all the links to all our socials are in the bio. You can click on the social media that you desire to go to. Hopefully it's all of them, but I know that everybody doesn't use every social media. So whatever one you desire to, please head over to the one that you desire and hit that follow button and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. So, guys, we had 3 games on Christmas. Okay. First off, happy holidays, everybody. Hope you're having a safe and happy and pleasant holiday, but we are in the depths of the playoff race in football. Not only that, we are in the playoffs for college football. Round 1 took place last week, and there was obviously 2 games that were very noticeably known that were going to end up the way they did, right? Okay. But this year in football, it hasn't been as predictable. Okay, teams are going into games and winning games that you didn't expect them to win. And some teams that are expected to win are losing. Did you think that we'd be where we're at with the AFC West this year? Now, I'll say this. I do say a lot that at the beginning of the year, during our preseason shows, that I did not feel the Chiefs were going to make the playoffs. I didn't think the Commanders were going to have the team that they did last year. Now, the Commanders, I predicted them to make the playoffs at 10-7. And the Lions, I said, weren't going to be as good as they were last year. But I predicted them, I believe, to make the playoffs as well at 10-7. I would have to look at my prediction sheet again, which I have sitting right here. But anyways, it's just been a weird year. I mean, the Colts started off the way they did, being arguably the best team in the league the first 8-9 weeks of the season. And I did have the Lions. I picked the Lions at 10-7 and be the 6th seed in the playoffs. I did. But the Colts, who were the best team in football the first 8, 9, 10 weeks of the season, you're thinking, man, they're Super Bowl favorites. They might go out and win the AFC this year. They were guaranteed to win the AFC South. When clearly you thought, this is even the way the Texans played, whether the Texans went 10-7 or 9-8, this was the Texans division. And then the Colts come swooping in the first 9 weeks of the season. But not only that, Jacksonville is playing the way that they're playing. Didn't expect them to play the way they're playing. I predicted them, I think, to go 4-13, 3-14, I think. I would have to pull out my predictions. I would have to pull out my predictions to see what I predicted them to be at, which I'm going to do in a later show. I am going to do some comparisons to my predictions, probably next week's show. I'll pull out my predictions and do some comparisons. But these teams that you didn't expect to do what they're doing it. Didn't expect the Broncos to be winning the AFC West. Didn't expect them to be, as of right now, the number 1 seed in the AFC, as it sits today. And there is a clinching scenario for them to clinch the number 1 seed this week. And we're going to go over all that. But the expectations for certain teams, it's crazy. The Philadelphia Eagles, did you expect them to be sitting at 10-5 right now? Because I didn't. I expected Philadelphia, not because I'm an Eagles fan. I'm going to say that right now. Not because I'm an Eagles fan, because you guys know by now, if you have paid attention or watched the show long enough, that I am very unbiased when it comes to this show. Now, off air, I'm an Eagles fan all day, but I expected the Eagles to be sitting at least at 12-3 right now and ending the season at 14-3. I believe I predicted them at 14-3, if not 13-4. 13-4. 4 losses. Okay? I predicted they would, I believe, split with the Cowboys, split with the Commanders, be 4-2 in the division. I didn't think they were going to split with the Giants. Lose to the Bills, who they play this weekend. And now that thought process has turned around because Josh Allen is dealing with an injury that could affect him in Sunday's game. And I forget who else I had them predicting to lose to. But those are 3 out of the 4 losses I predicted them to lose. It's just been a weird year. It's been a weird year. And we're going to go over all the playoff scenarios and what the picture could look like if the playoffs started today. And I already started putting together playoff statistics for our shows in the next coming days. It's been a weird year. And even in me and John's pick challenge. Okay? Last year, I was like 30, 40 some games behind him by now. By now, I was down by 40 something games. He won. He won in like week 12 already of the pick challenge last year. This year, we are 1 game split. Now, we have 5 different this week. We picked 5 different games this week, differentials. So this is a crucial week in a sense. But we do add the playoffs in. But it gets harder when we get into the playoff version of picking because you got to think. There's only, 6 wildcard games? And we could end up picking 5 of the same teams. Then you get into the divisional round and you have 4 games. We can end up picking all 4 teams the same. Conference title games, 2 games, same. And then we get to the Super Bowl. And if we both feel like the same team can win the Super Bowl, then we both pick the same Super Bowl team. So at the playoffs, the only week that really matters towards our pick challenge is the wildcard week because we can end up picking half of different teams. But then once we get to the divisional round, the conference title, and the Super Bowl, it's like, we're picking the same. So by the wildcard round, that's it. The pick challenge is basically over. But we were never, ever this close in our pick challenge. Never. Now, I don't know whether it was I was smarter with my picks, which I feel like I was a lot smarter this year with how I picked. But also how games have ended. How outcomes have happened. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, did you think of them sitting at 7-8 right now? And 1 Panthers win away from them being eliminated from the playoffs, from them being eliminated from contention for the South, and the Panthers walking away as the champions of their division? I mean, I felt like the Panthers were going to progress, but I didn't think they'd be up for the South this year. But that's where we're at. It's a weird year. A weird year. And, yeah, it's been crazy. We got some news to cover, guys. That's where we're going to start. As you know, we did the show on Christmas Day. And the Christmas Day games, the Lions have officially been eliminated from playoff contention after losing to the Vikings 23-10. I mean, the Lions fan base, I will say this. You guys last year would not stop talking about your head coach. I mean, I don't know the right word to really say about what you guys, treated him as. Like, He came in and turned your team around in the past 4 years, which has been great. Detroit, and you've been having a lot of good football. But after last year and being the number 1 seed, going 15-2, losing to the Commanders in the divisional round, had to have been a wake-up call. And some would say, oh, it was the injuries. You know, they didn't really have the defensive backfield that they brought in to do the job that needed to do. They were, working with guys off the streets, yada, yada, yada. It's understandable. But you've been working with those players for 2-3 weeks. Still finished 15-2 and won your division in week 18 against the Vikings. Had an extra week to prep because you had the bye week and couldn't get the job done. Fast forward to this year. You go into Christmas Day to where you needed to win to stay alive in the playoff race, at least for an extra day. Well, extra 2 days. Because if Green Bay beats Baltimore tonight, then that'd be it for you. But with what Green Bay is facing right now, if y'all would have went out and beat the Vikings, probably would have had a decent chance going into tonight to stay alive to go into next week to battle with Green Bay for that final spot. Now, you went out, you lost. And you're sitting at home. But you're calling for your coach to be fired. Now, I went on a rant about this last week. You had a coach who came in, was super successful, turned your team around, got you guys to the playoffs for the first time in nearly 30 years, made the conference championship, won your division. You were one step away from making Super Bowl 58. One step away. Huge turnaround in Detroit. Wouldn't shut up about your head coach on how good he was doing. You were happy about the chances he took on 4th down because it was rogue. And now you want him fired because you had a bad season. In a season that has not been too kind to a lot of teams that should be sitting in postseason play in 2 weeks. Instead, they're going to be at home. Now, I went on this rant last week and said, why is it that fans, at the drop of a hat, when success isn't there, after so many years of progress and improvement, one slip up in a weird season, fire them? Why? Just like the questions are out there, should Kansas City fire Andy Reid? Why? Because they had a bad year and they didn't make the playoffs? Why? Now, me and John talked about it on the Tuesday show, and we talked about the coaches that are on the hot seat, and there was 2 that I agreed with. 1 I didn't. And that was Cincinnati and their head coach being on the hot seat. All the success that he's brought. Now, the past 2 seasons, including this year, 3, haven't been too friendly. But the Bengals know what they got to fix. They got to fix the defense. They got to fix the offensive line. That's what they got to fix. Go fix those problems, and I guarantee you'll be back to your winning ways. You'll be back in the playoffs. And fans, you'll be praising your team again. And you're going to forget everything you said. Just like Eagles fans. 2 years ago, Nick Sirianni, they were calling for him to be fired. Lost 5 of the last 6 and then lost in the playoffs to the Buccaneers in a gruesome fashion. Fire Nick. Fire Nick. Playoffs every year since he's been the head coach. And up until that point, a Super Bowl appearance, one NFC championship. And because of a 5 out of 6 game skid and a bad playoff game, you want to fire him when he can go in and make the improvements he has to? But then fast forward to last year, wins the Super Bowl. Oh, we never meant for him to be fired. You're full of shit. You meant every word you said. But would have been kicking yourself if he would have been fired and went somewhere and had success. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right. So Detroit, settle down. Let your coach try and fix the problems before they fire him. Don't be calling for him to be fired. Let him try and fix the problem. Give him next year. And if things don't work out, then start thinking about it. I get it. You want to make it to the Super Bowl. I get it. I get it. What is it, 3 times now in Detroit history you come this close? You've waited all these years. You can wait another. Relax. You'll be fine. Detroit. You got a good team. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You guys got a really good team. Relax. Relax. But the Lions are officially eliminated as of Christmas Day, losing to the Vikings. Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Ravens, he is doubtful for the game against the Packers tonight. He's dealing with a nagging back injury. It's not, I understand the back injury thing. I deal with it myself. It sucks. And trying to do stuff with a back injury just isn't fun. It's not fun at all. Just imagine going to throw some football pads on and trying to play football. Stinks. Lamar Jackson may be out for tonight. Word has not come out yet whether he is going to officially be out or play, and I'm trying to keep up on that by the moment. As news comes out and stuff like that. So, but as of right now, he's doubtful. Is there a possibility he plays tonight? Who knows? But as of right now, it's unlikely. So, but there is rumors flying around as well, circulating with him, the possibilities that the Ravens aren't happy with him anymore. And he apparently went on to say that if these rumors are true, then I want to be traded, and I want to be traded to Miami. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, why Miami? Well, he has ties down there. Grew up down there, whatever. He has ties down there. It's understandable. You want to be close to home, close to people that you know and love and have a support system. Not just relying on the fans to be your support system. So that's understanding number one. Number two, the Dolphins in realistic fashion do not have a bad team. They just have a bad way of losing games. And Lamar Jackson, could he be the piece of the puzzle the Dolphins need? Who knows? Because I always say that sometimes players just don't fit in certain systems. And maybe, just maybe, the Miami system is the system for Lamar Jackson. And maybe Lamar Jackson is the piece of the puzzle that can help Miami be successful. Who knows? You won't know until they try it. And Lamar Jackson apparently went on to say that if they're not happy with him, trade him. It's been a bad year in Baltimore with high expectations that pretty much hit the fan as quick as week 7. And things were not looking good. Then they went on the 5-game win streak, but Pittsburgh has kept their head above water to the point where if they just go out and win this weekend, they win the North and they clinch the playoffs. Baltimore, on the other hand, needs Pittsburgh to lose out, and they need to win out. Starting tonight against that Green Bay defense may not be the case, especially with it being in Lambeau and with the way the weather's been right now. We just got hit with some snow, sleet, rain, and a winter mix that, is a nuisance. I could just imagine what it's like up in Wisconsin right now. So I'll say this. Baltimore, I feel like, is going to lose tonight, regardless on whether Jordan Love is playing or not, which he's not. Jordan Love is out for this game, and Malik Willis will be the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. But it's going to be all about whether the future of Lamar Jackson in Baltimore is real or if it's going to go away. But as of right now, those rumors flying around, he's saying it. Trade me. Trade me. So we'll have to keep our eye out as we go on and get into the offseason and get into free agency and all that stuff, because that's going to creep up on us very fast. We're only 3.5 months away from free agency and all that stuff. So something that we're going to have to definitely keep our eyes and ears open for. Rome Odunze for the wide receiver of the Bears. He is ruled out against the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. David Njoku, tight end of the Browns. He's ruled out against the Steelers. And Harold Fannin, the tight end of the Browns. He's questionable with a growing injury. So the Browns their tight end position slim. David Njoku and Harold Fannin, both basically going to be out in this game. Sauce Gardner, defensive back of the Colts. He's going to return against the Jaguars this week. So that's some good news for the Colts. Maybe a little late for their defense, but they're still alive. There's still a chance. They need to win out, and the Texans need to lose out. But you never know what can happen. It's been a weird year. DeForest Buckner, defensive end of the Colts, he's going to need neck surgery. He's placed on season-ending IR. DeForest Buckner, he's been out for almost all season. Came back last week. Went in, got evaluated the other day, and they said, look, you need neck surgery. You're done. That's it. That's it. So, DeForest Buckner out for the remainder of 2025. Let's see what else. George Kittle, tight end of the 49ers, and Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver of the 49ers, are both questionable for Sunday's game against the Bears. So, not only did the Bears get hit with Rome Odunze being out, now George Kittle and Ricky Pearsall are both questionable. Now, George Kittle, he said that he's dealing with a low ankle sprain. He's happy it's not a high ankle sprain, but it's still an ankle sprain. It's still an ankle injury, and that can affect him. Especially being a blocking tight end and obviously a route running tight end. George Kittle does a lot for the San Francisco 49ers. So, the 49ers, they already clinched a playoff spot. They are playing for the NFC West, and I do have some playoff scenario stuff for them to clinch the NFC West and possible home field advantage. Things have to go their way. It's a lot. So when you look at the list of things the 49ers need for home field advantage, it's almost impossible. Now, when you look at the stuff they need to happen for the division, is it possible? Yes, it is. When you look at the other two teams, the Rams and the Seahawks schedule. And right now, the 49ers, I believe, have the tiebreaker over the Rams. So, they just got to make things a little easier for themselves. George Kittle is a significant part of that offense. And I even said to John during the Monday night game last week against the Colts, I said, it's not the Rams, it's not the Bears, it's not the Packers or any other team that scare me. It's the 49ers that scare me in the playoffs. Being an Eagles fan, it is. It's the 49ers. Why? You watch that offense play, and they attack. They are in attack mode. Go back and watch that Colts game on Monday night, and you tell me I'm wrong. They were in attack mode. No give whatsoever. And then the defense. Whew. Tell me the 49ers are not a scary team. Prove to me the 49ers are not a scary team. They're scary. That's a scary football team right there, right now. And at this point of the year, man, I'd be happy to be a 49ers fan right now. I would be. If I was a 49ers fan, I'd be ecstatic right now. Who cares what position you're in the playoffs, whether you're number 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed? Who cares? 5 seed, 6 seed. Even if you have to go on the road, who cares? Let's just put it this way. We got the playoff positioning. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to mention the 49ers again. We're going to get back to the 49er talk when we talk about this playoff positioning. And if the playoffs were to start today, where the 49ers would be. And I'm going to say this right now. It doesn't scare me one bit if I was a 49ers fan. If I was the other team's fan, well, I'd be already planning winter vacation. Like, where am I going to go after the holidays are over? To decompress and enjoy myself. Joel Bitonio, offensive lineman of the Browns, he was making his case for head coach Kevin Stefanski to stay in 2026. He said that he feels like this team is getting to the point where they need to be at. It's just that it's going to take time to get there. And as we know, a lot of people are saying and thinking that Kevin Stefanski is on the hot seat and that he may be fired after this week after they lose to the Steelers. I'm going to say this right now. I think it would be a mistake for the Browns to fire Kevin Stefanski. Give him another chance. Give him one more year. Because I'll say this right now. I think the head coaching pool is a little slim. Stick with Kevin Stefanski in 2026. That's what I think they should do. That's just my opinion. I don't think Stefanski's going to be done. I don't. I think it would be a bad move for Cleveland to get rid of Kevin Stefanski. And it seems like he has a lot of players that are backing him to stick around. So we'll have to see what happens there. Some news in college football. Kyle Whittingham, former head coach of Utah, he is going to be the new head coach out at Michigan. Huge decision for Michigan because of everything that revolved around them with their head coaching position. What happened with their former head coach. You know, all the accusations that came out with him having, you know, the relationship with an employee or whatever, and you know, all the stuff going on, getting arrested. You know, it was a mess in Michigan, and to go into the positive direction of hiring a new head coach and bringing in somebody that you feel like is going to come in and do the job, great move by Michigan to kind of take that negative light away and bring some positive by hiring a new head coach this early in the process. The Jets earlier this week, they told a season ticket holder that she could not come in and kick for $100,000 during the halftime show. One of the big reasons why is because she's a high school soccer coach for a high school in New York. Okay. Season ticket holder, somebody has committed their money. You're going to tell them because they can't come in and kick for $100,000 because they're a high school soccer coach. Blows my mind, Jets. Chill out. Let her come in and kick. Let her come win $100,000. Relax. And they did. They turned around and said, you know what? Come in on Sunday and we'll let you go ahead and kick that field goal because it might be the only exciting thing the Jets do against the Patriots this weekend. So had to try and be funny. Last bit of news, Max Crosby, defensive end of the Raiders, he was told that he will not play against the Giants. A lot of reports came out last night that he left the facilities not happy after having a dispute with some team officials. The team is concerned about a lingering knee injury he's been dealing with since October. And they were thinking about apparently sitting him back in October already, but he said no, he wants to play. He still wants to play this weekend against the Giants. But the thing is they're not letting him. Now, it's not like he has to travel to New York. It's in Vegas. The game is in Vegas. It's a home game. You know, if the man wants to play and he feels like he can play and he's good to go, let him play, Vegas. Why would you piss off arguably your biggest asset on the team? I mean, he's part of the reason why people come and watch the Raiders, I'm guessing. Because I don't know if there's any other reason why people will go watch the Raiders right now. Other than the tickets are probably cheap as shit. I'm guaranteeing the tickets are cheap out in Vegas. And it is Vegas too. So let's check. Let's check the Raiders ticket prices right now against the Giants tomorrow. Here we go. Vegas Raiders. Oh, so they got 2 home games coming up. They got the Chiefs and the Giants. They got the Giants this weekend, Chiefs next weekend. $64 to go watch the Raiders play, sitting in section 407. Now let's see the game against the Chiefs. Tickets right now are $66 in section 419. That's not bad. That's not a bad price. I wouldn't pay it to go watch a team that's all two teams that are already out of the playoffs. I'll pay $20. I'll pay 20 because I guarantee the Giants right now, their last home game tickets are probably $20, $30 at that. The Jets are like $70 right now because they're playing the Patriots, playing a playoff team. So they raised the ticket price a little bit. Come watch Drake May, destroy our team. It's that. But Max Crosby wants to play. He feels like he can go. Let him go. Why would you piss off arguably your biggest asset on the team right now? Let him play. The man knows his body. He knows that if the knee is not going to hold up, it's been holding up since October. What's one more game? What's 2 more games? How about this? Create a game plan to where he subs in and out. 50-50. Come to an even playing field. That way he can play, and you guys are happy you're not pushing him through 4 quarters of football. There you go. Simple solution. Now you're probably sitting there, oh, Mike, it's not that simple. It's the NFL. A lot more things go into it. I know. I'm not stupid. But it's a simple solution. In and out. That's all. That's all. Sub him in and out. That could be the simple solution to your problem. And that's that. But that's all the news we have for going into this weekend's games. We will have more news for you on the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast this Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Huddle Hub Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel. We do have some records and milestones we are going to be looking out for this week. But playoffs. Okay, so we got the playoffs coming up, obviously. And, we already know that some teams have clinched. In the NFC, the Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, 49ers, Rams, and Packers have clinched. The only position we are waiting on is the NFC South. Who's going to win the South? The Panthers or Bucks? Right now, the Panthers are kind of in favor to that. Okay, that's the only one we're waiting for. And other than that, positioning. The Seahawks right now, they sit in the number 1 seed, but they can end up losing it if they lose this week. It's all about seeding at this point, minus the Rams and Bucks. Now the Rams and the Panthers and Bucks. The winner of the Panthers-Bucks situation is going to be the 4 seed. That's it. Everything else is going to have to be figured out, right? In the AFC, the Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Chargers, and Bills have clinched. Okay, the Texans and Colts are battling for the final spot from the South, and the Steelers and Ravens are battling for the NFC or the AFC North right now. So if the Steelers win this week, the Steelers win the North. If the Ravens win and the Steelers lose, then we go into next week and in the same position because the Steelers need to lose out and the Ravens need to win out in order for the Ravens to win the division and clinch a playoff spot. The Steelers, it's simple, win. That's it. That's the Steelers, right? But if the playoffs were to start today, the Seahawks would be the 1 seed, the Bears would be the 2, the Eagles would be the 3, the Panthers would be the 4, 49ers would be the 5, the Rams would be the 6, and the Packers would be the 7 in the NFC. So the Packers would end up meeting the Bears, the Rams would play the Eagles, and the 49ers would play the Panthers in the wild card round, with the Bears, Eagles, and Panthers being the home teams. Seahawks would have home field advantage, first week bye, yada, yada, yada. In the AFC side of things, the Broncos would be the number 1 seed with the first round bye, home field advantage. Patriots at 2, Jaguars at 3, Steelers would be 4, Chargers would be 5, Bills would be 6, Texans would be 7. So the Texans would play the Patriots, Bills would play the Jaguars, Chargers would play the Steelers, with the Patriots, Jaguars, and Steelers being the home teams because they won their division. Those would be the matchups right now if the playoffs were to start today. Okay? Now, again, this is all going to change in the next coming days, week or so, but that would be how things are if the playoffs would kick off today. Okay? Playoff scenarios. Okay? So here are the playoff scenarios going into week 17. First off, the Broncos, they played on Christmas Day against the Chiefs. They ended up winning. Now, for the Broncos to clinch home field advantage, they needed to win. They need a Chargers loss or tie, a Patriots loss, a Bills loss or tie, and a Jaguars loss or tie. Okay? So the Broncos already took care of what they needed to do individually, and that is win. Same with the division. If they win, which they did, and the Chargers lose or tie, then the Broncos win the division. If the Broncos would have tied, then they would have needed a Chargers loss. Just a loss to win the division. Now, the Broncos, they picked up the win, so now all they need is a Chargers loss or tie to clinch the West. So the Broncos are just sitting around waiting to see what the Chargers, Patriots, Bills, and Jaguars do as far as home field advantage. But when it comes to the AFC West alone, they're just waiting to see what the Chargers do. Okay? The Jaguars, they could clinch their division with a win and a Texans loss or tie, or if they tie, a Texans loss. The Patriots could clinch their division, the AFC East, with a win and a Bills loss or tie, or if they tie, a Bills loss. The Steelers, they can clinch the AFC North with a win or a Ravens loss or tie. Simple. That's it. That's all the Steelers need. And then the Texans, they can clinch a playoff berth with just winning or tying, or if they don't win or tie, they lose, then they need the Colts to lose or tie. Now, if let's say the Texans end up losing and the Colts end up losing, we go into next week. If they both end up winning, we go into this scenario next week. But if they tie, if by any chance the Texans end up tying with the Chargers and the Colts end up tying with the Jaguars, then the Texans would clinch because of strength of victory and the tiebreaker over the Colts. Now, the following would need to happen if the Colts and Texans were both tied this weekend. The Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, and 49ers would need to win. The Falcons and Dolphins would need to lose in order for the Texans to clinch a playoff spot. Sounds complicating, I know, but it's really not. It's not. So that's for the AFC side of things for playoff scenarios, okay? For the NFC side of things, the Seahawks, they take on the Panthers at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. For them to clinch home field advantage, they need to win. They need a Rams loss or tie and a 49ers and Bears to tie on Sunday Night Football. Okay? Now, for the division, the Seahawks just need to win. They need a Rams loss or tie or a 49ers loss or tie. Now, if the Seahawks were to tie, then they need a Rams loss and a 49ers loss to clinch the NFC West. So the Seahawks, they still need some things to happen in order to clinch the division. The Panthers, they could clinch the NFC South with a win and a Buccaneers loss or tie, or if they tie, a Buccaneers loss. The Bears can clinch the NFC North with a win or a Packers loss, or the Bears and Packers both tie. So if the Bears don't win, then they need the Packers to lose. So if the Packers lose tonight against the Ravens, the Bears clinch the division. So Bears fans, I hope you're keeping a close eye on that Packers game tonight. Because if they go out and lose to the Ravens, then you got the NFC North locked up going into Sunday Night Football. So, but if the Packers win, then you got to go out and beat the 49ers. Simple as that. Not so simple. Not so simple, but Saying it wise, it's that simple. The Packers, they can clinch. They already clinched a playoff berth. I had their stuff written down, but the Lions lost, so the Packers already clinched a playoff berth. That's it. Those are your playoff scenarios for Week 17. Exciting. Isn't it? Super exciting. Gotta love football. Let's get into the records and milestones that could be broken and clinched this week. There was a couple that on Christmas Day that could have been broken this week. Some of them were. We'll cover that on the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast with myself and John, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll cover all the records and milestones that were broken in Week 17, including what happened on Christmas Day. I'm not going to say them today. We got a lot of records and milestones that could be met this week. 18, to be exact. 18. This is a list. Myles Garrett, as we know, he's a half a sack away. He has 22 sacks on the season. He's a half a sack away from tying Michael Strahan and TJ Watt for the season sack record. He is one full sack away from holding the record himself. So, Myles Garrett, I hope he gets it. I do. And, you know, there's a lot of rumors going out there saying, oh, some teams are letting him do it. Who cares? It's a respect factor. Myles Garrett is, you know, he seems to be a hell of a guy. I would love to meet Myles Garrett one day. I would. I don't need a picture or an autograph or anything like that. I would just love to meet the guy. I would. Even if it's on a Zoom call. I would just love to talk to the guy for 5 minutes. Because he seems like a really cool guy. Just saying. I would. And I hope, and if the rumors are true that teams are just letting him get a sack against them, who cares? And if the rumors are true, I think Aaron Rodgers will let him do it. I do. I think Aaron Rodgers will let him do it. I think Myles Garrett breaks the record and gets the record for himself this week against Pittsburgh. I do. It's my opinion, and I hope he gets it. I hope he does. Matthew Stafford, quarterback of the Rams, with 3 touchdown passes and a 110-plus pass rating, could become the 4th quarterback in history with those stats in primetime games. In 4 primetime games. Okay? In a single season. Because Aaron Rodgers and a couple other players have done it in multiple primetime games in a season, those type of stats, and Matthew Stafford can become part of that list. Also, with 3 touchdown passes, he could tie Tom Brady for second most touchdown passes by a quarterback, but 37 years of the age or older. Peyton Manning has more. So Peyton Manning, he leads. He's the leader of that category. Matthew Stafford could end up tying Tom Brady for second most. So Matthew Stafford getting himself in the record books even more. Because last week, he accomplished his 10th season with 4,000 passing yards or more, which is crazy. Nuts. Sam Darnold. If he were to win on Sunday, he would become the 5th quarterback to have a consecutive 13-win seasons. So because he had 13 or more wins last year, if he wins this weekend, he'll have 13 wins this year. That makes it back-to-back consecutive. Well, he would be the 5th quarterback ever to do it. And he would also become the 1st quarterback ever to do it with 2 separate teams. Last year, the Vikings. This year, the Seahawks. So, Sam Darnold, after the start of his season he had out in New York and Carolina, had a pretty decent stint out in San Francisco. I'll say that. Starting to get to where people expected him to be. It's crazy. Bo Nix, he has 22 wins in his first 2 seasons. He could become second all-time if he were to win this week, only trailing Russell Wilson, who had 24. So, Bo Nix has 22 wins in his first 2 seasons. Okay, last year and this year combined. Now, if he were to win this week, then if the Broncos already won. So he did surpass this. He is now second all-time, trailing Russell Wilson. Wow. I missed that one. Never mind. So one of the records I was going to that I should have been talking about on Tuesday, we're already talking about. Okay, I'll have to mark that in for Tuesday. He also has 53 career touchdown passes in his first 2 years. He's tied with Derek Carr, and if he throws one touchdown pass, he could become third all-time behind Justin Herbert and Dan Marino, which I'm sure he did. So that's another record we'll have to write down for Tuesday. I'll have to double-check his stats, but I'm sure he did it. Justin Herbert, quarterback of the Chargers, in his career has 24,584 passing yards. He is 302 passing yards away from surpassing Peyton Manning, who had 24,885 for the most in their first 6 years. Justin Herbert about trying to surpass Peyton Manning. Also, with 300 passing yards, could tie Dan Marino for second most in such games in their first 6 years. Dan Marino had 32 300-plus passing yard games, and Patrick Mahomes had 41 games in his first 6 years with 300 or more passing yards. So that's an accomplishment. 300-plus passing yards for a player, I mean, that's crazy. Bijan Robinson, running back of the Falcons, he is 68 yards away from surpassing Christian McCaffrey for most by a player at the age of 24. So he has I'm not sure what Bijan's actual stats are right now, but he's 68 yards away from surpassing Christian McCaffrey, who had 5,443 rushing yards before the age of 24. So Bijan Robinson, he's a beast this year. He was. First end of the year, he was killing it. He was. I need to take a drink. Give me a second. Man, stuffy in here today. Drake May, quarterback of the Patriots, he is with 2 touchdown passes and 100-plus passing rating, could become third all-time with stats in 10 games in a single season, joining Patrick Mahomes in 2018 and Matthew Stafford in 2010-2011. So if he has 2 touchdown passes and a 100-plus passing rating, then he would have 10 games in a season doing so. And Patrick Mahomes did it back in 2018. Matthew Stafford did it in 2010 and 2011. Also, he has 11 games with a 100-plus passing rating. He can surpass Dak Prescott, who had 11 games in 2016 for second most in such games under the age of 24. So Drake May is killing it this year. He's having a great season out in New England, and I have no doubt that he's going to finish strong this year. Jonathan Taylor, running back of the Colts, he is 1 rushing touchdown away from joining Priest Holmes and Emmitt Smith with multi-years of 18 or more rushing touchdowns. Priest Holmes, he had 2 years, and Emmitt Smith had 3 years with 18 or more rushing touchdowns. So Jonathan Taylor, he would be working on his second year with 18 or more rushing touchdowns. He can also become the 6th player all-time with at least 9,000 scrimmage yards and 75 scrimmage touchdowns in his first 6 years. So, Christian McCaffrey, he is 112 scrimmage yards away from becoming the 6th player since 1990 with at least 2,000 scrimmage yards in 3 years. So 3 straight years with 2,000 scrimmage yards. And also with a touchdown reception, he will surpass Marshall Faulk for most by a running back since 1970. So Christian McCaffrey was doing decent in Carolina, doing good in Carolina. He goes out to San Francisco and just breaking records. Even with he could have probably did this last year. This was probably going to be his statistics last year, and he would have been starting to surpass the guys that are in the top 3, top 4, all time. Obviously, reception touchdowns from scrimmage, he would have done last year. Derrick Henry, running back of the Ravens, he is 2 rushing touchdowns away from tying Adrian Peterson for 4th all-time in career rushing touchdowns. Adrian Peterson currently has had 120. So Derrick Henry is 2 rushing touchdowns away from 121 and surpassing Adrian Peterson. Also, with a rushing touchdown, he could become the third player with at least 13 touchdowns in 5 years, joining LaDainian Tomlinson, who did it 6 years straight, and Sean Alexander, who did it 5 years. So Derrick Henry is working on his fifth straight season with 13 or more touchdown rushes. I told you we had 18 of these today. 18. This show was not only going 60 minutes. Not happening. Puka Nacua, wide receiver of the Rams, he is 2 catches away from becoming the 5th player all-time with 300 catches in their first 3 years. He can also become the fastest player to 300 catches, where he currently has 298 in 42 games. So he could become the fastest player to 300 catches. He can also become the first player with at least 150 in 4 consecutive games. 150 yards in 4 consecutive games, and the 6th player with 150 yards in 5 games in a season. So I forgot to write yardage, and I knew that was yardage. I knew that one was yardage because he is getting the yards this year. And then Puka Nacua's last one with 127 yards could become the 4th player with 700 yards in a span of 4 games. So imagine that, Puka Nacua, if he gets 127 receiving yards in this game, in the Rams game, who the Rams play this week? I'm looking at my list. Monday night against Falcons. Okay, 127 receiving yards would be his 4th straight game. It would be his 4th game, 700 yards in the span of the 4th game. So, yeah, I mixed that up, didn't I? Jamar Chase, wide receiver of the Bengals, he is 104 receiving yards away, and he could surpass Randy Moss and Torrey Holt for 2nd most yards by a player in their first 5 years, and also 100 yards away from tying Torrey Holt for the 4th most games by a player in first 5 years. So, Jamar Chase, even in a losing season, is breaking records. Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver of the Seahawks, is 63 yards away from becoming the 3rd player in history under the age of 24 with a 1,700-yard season. And then the last one, Trey McBride, he is 1 catch away. With 1 catch will become the first tight end all time with at least 110 catches in multiple seasons, and 8 catches will surpass Zach Ertz, who had 116 in 2018 for most by a tight end in a single season. So some records and milestones to look out for in week 17. There you go. It was a lot. Okay. It was a lot. It was a lot. All right, guys, we're going to run down the schedule for week 17. We're going to get you guys ready for week 17, but we're going to take about a 30-second break here on the Huddle Podcast. We'll be right back after this. All right, so make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Up Podcast over on social media, on X and on TikTok at the Huddle Up Pod, hitting that follow button over on YouTube at the Huddle Up Pod, hitting that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. Make sure you're hitting that follow on the Twitch channel as well, and turn those notifications on to check out every time we go live. We go live on Sunday, normally on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. and on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the normal schedule, but because of the holidays, it's been a little hectic. So we've had a couple more shows to run and different schedules and everything like that. The way the schedule's been, Saturday games, Thursday games, and all that stuff. So it's been a little different these past couple days. Go over and hit that follow button. All of the social medias are in the bio over on the Twitch channel. You can click on whatever social media you desire to follow on, because I know not everybody uses TikTok or X or YouTube. And help us build the Huddle Hub podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. So we are getting into the realm of playoff time. We know that.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
That's right, Coach. Playoffs. That's right. And some teams have probably surprised you. And some teams that, end up winning this week, they clinch a playoff spot. Some teams have already clinched a playoff spot. One team that surprised me.
Duval.
Right, Duval. Surprised me. Because I didn't think the Jaguars were going to do as good as they did. And they're doing it. Jaguars are killing it. They are. And they're going into the playoffs. They could possibly win the AFC South this week. Which is crazy. Thought it was the Houston Texans division. Thought it was. So, crazy. I got to get my notes ready because we are going to run down the games in Week 17. And as you know, sometimes I mess up introducing some of the games because it's the rough part about doing shows alone sometimes is you want to make sure that everything is perfectly good for social media and for people to check out. So for the people that couldn't join us in the live, you can check out some content, especially over on the TikTok and YouTube where videos get posted almost on a daily basis. So, as we know, Week 17 kicked off on Christmas Day. Cowboys ended up defeating the Commanders 30-23. The Vikings went out and defeated the Lions 23-10, and the Broncos defeated the Chiefs 20-13. The Broncos doing what they needed to do to start their journey to home field advantage. Now they need a couple other things to happen for them to clinch home field advantage this week. But at least at the moment, if the Chargers go out and lose to the Texans tonight, then the Broncos at least clinch the West. And then they need to wait for the rest of the weekend to see if they can clinch home field advantage. So we'll have to see. But let's start things off with today's games. Okay, we got two games tonight, the Texans and Chargers and the Ravens and Packers. So let's get into it. Starting off with the game to kick off the Saturday schedule, we got the Houston Texans heading out to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. The Texans, they need to win to, oh my gosh. See, I'm going to fuck this up because there's so much at stake for some of these playoff clinching scenarios. So let me get my shit in line here because if I don't, then, All right, the first game on the Saturday, oh my gosh. Gosh dang it. The first game on the Saturday schedule, we got the Houston Texans heading out to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. The Texans, they need to win to clinch their playoff spot, and the Chargers need to win to stay alive in the race for the AFC West. The Chargers have already clinched their playoff spot. Now they're in a race for the division against the Broncos. Can the Texans clinch their playoff spot? Can the Chargers hold the Broncos? I got to redo that again. Dang it. I had so much I wanted to say too. The first game on the Saturday schedule, we got the Texans heading out to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. The Texans need to win to clinch the playoff spot, and the Chargers need to win to keep the Broncos away from clinching the AFC West. Could the Texans go out and clinch their playoff spot? Can the Chargers go out and hold off the Broncos at least another week from clinching the division? Let's go find out. I don't like that one. Last time, and then we'll move on. If I don't like it, I don't like it. The Houston first game on the Saturday schedule, we got the Houston Texans heading out to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. The Texans, they need to win to clinch a playoff spot. The Broncos, they already won their game this week, so the Chargers need to win to keep the Broncos away from clinching the AFC West. The Texans want that playoff spot. The Chargers want that division. Who wants what they want more? Let's find out. That one's okay. It's the playoff ones that are going to get posted more, and yeah. The second game on the Saturday schedule, we got the Baltimore Ravens heading out to Green Bay to take on the Packers. The Packers have already clinched the playoff spot, so they're in. The Ravens, they need to win and need the Steelers to lose this week in order to stay alive, not only for the division, but to get into the playoffs as well. The Ravens need to win out. The Steelers need to lose out. Are things going to go the Ravens' way, or are the Packers going to shut the Ravens down tonight? There we go. I like that one. And like I said, it's all the playoff scenario ones that are probably going to get posted for the social media. So that's it for the Saturday schedule. Let's get into the Sunday 1 o'clock schedule. Starting off with the first game on the 1 o'clock set, we got the Buccaneers heading out to Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are done. They're out of playoff contention, everything. But the Buccaneers, they're staying alive for the NFC South. They need to win, but they also need the Panthers to lose in order to go into Week 18 to battle for the division. Could the Buccaneers stay alive? Let's find out. That's a maybe. Like I said last week, I try and include teams that I haven't included yet this year in some of these, and I was able to accomplish that last week. I forget who with. I forget what team I did it with, and it got a good response. We got good responses, good views on it, so that's why I try and accomplish adding at least all 32 teams in a season. So we got the New England Patriots heading out to New York to take on the Jets. The Jets, they're done. The Patriots, on the other hand, they are battling for home field advantage. Could the Patriots go out, win, and stop the Broncos from clinching home field advantage? Let's see the Patriots take care of business going into next week. I don't know if I like that one, but we'll take a double look at it. I'm not going to do it again. We're just going to run down these because I'm 5 minutes over time, and yeah. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers heading out to Cleveland to take on the Browns. It's simple. The Steelers win. They win the AFC North. They clinch a playoff spot. Meanwhile, the Browns, they have nothing to play for, but Myles Garrett is seeking the single-season sack record. Will Myles Garrett at least get that? And will the Steelers get their playoff berth and division championship? Let's find out. I like that one. That one was good. I like the Steelers-Brown one. That one's a definite. I gotta blow my nose. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars heading out to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Jaguars, they've already clinched the playoffs. Now they're seeking to clinch the division. The Colts on the other, oh my gosh. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars heading out to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Jaguars, they've already clinched the playoffs. That was step one. Step two is clinching the division. But the Colts, they've played so good at the beginning of the year that they're kind of stopping that from instantly happening for the Jaguars. And the Texans are also getting in the Jaguars' way. Could the Jaguars win and better their chances of winning the division, or will the Colts yet again get in their way? Maybe. All right. We got the New Orleans Saints heading out to Tennessee to take on the Titans. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. This game, just like the Giants and Raiders, because the Giants are going to head out to Vegas to take on the Raiders in the 4 o'clock set. This is basically a draft positioning situation. You know, the Raiders and Giants, they're playing basically for first overall. Okay, so whoever loses that game is going to have the first overall pick in the draft at the moment. The Saints and the Titans right now, I mean, the Titans, I believe, are third overall right now. The Saints, I mean, they're 5-10. They're number, I think, 6. So it's all about draft positioning right now for the Saints and the Titans, the Giants and the Raiders, the Cardinals and the Bengals. So those games right there are all about draft positioning. So just see who wins and see who loses in those games. So we got the Seattle Seahawks heading out to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Seahawks are seeking to clinch home field advantage. They need some things to happen. They're also seeking to clinch the NFC West as well. They need to win and a couple things to happen to do so. Meanwhile, the Panthers, all they got to do is win. They win the South. Can the Panthers take care of what they need to take care of, or the Seahawks going to stop that from happening because they got to do what they got to do? Let's find out. I'm going to do that one more time. We got the Seattle Seahawks heading out to Carolina to take on the Panthers. It's simple. The Panthers win. They win the NFC South, and they clinch a playoff berth. The Seahawks, they have a couple things to happen, plus they need to win to clinch their division, plus they're seeking home field advantage. Will the Seahawks do what they got to do to stay on track to clinch home field and win their division, or will the Panthers stop them and be in their way by winning and clinching their division and a playoff berth? I don't like that. One more time. Last time. We got the Seattle Seahawks heading out to Carolina to take on the Panthers. It's simple. The Panthers win. They win their division. The Seahawks, on the other hand, they're seeking to clinch home field advantage and win their division. A couple things need to happen for the Seahawks, but the Panthers, it's simple. Just win. Who's going to do what they need to do to accomplish what they want to accomplish? That one's okay. We might go with that one. Sunday night and Monday night always get posted. So in the 4 o'clock set of games, we got the Eagles heading out to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Both teams have already clinched the playoffs. The Eagles, they already clinched the NFC East. The Bills, they're trying to clinch the AFC East. The Bills, they need to really oh my gosh. In the 4 o'clock set, we got the Philadelphia Eagles heading out to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Eagles, they already clinched the playoff spot and their division. The Bills, they clinched the playoff spot, but they didn't clinch their division just yet. They need to win, and they need a couple things to happen in order to clinch the division. Are the Eagles going to stop the Bills from doing that, or are the Bills going to go out and take care of business in Buffalo? I kind of like that one. It was simple, short, sweet, simple. We might do that one. I got a couple I want to do. Yeah. All right. On Sunday Night Football, we got the Bears heading out to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The Bears, they just need to win to clinch their division. The 49ers, they're trying to stay in. Oh, my gosh. On Sunday Night Football, we got the Chicago Bears heading out to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The Bears, they just need to win the division. The 49ers, they need a couple things to happen, but they also need to win to get their division. Damn. On Sunday Night Football, we got the Chicago Bears heading out to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The Bears, all they need to do is win to clinch their division. The 49ers, they need to win, and they need a couple things to happen in order for them to clinch their division. What's going to happen in this battle on Sunday Night Football? Got to end it very, very... Okay. On Monday Night Football, we got the Los Angeles Rams heading out to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Rams, they're trying to win and win their division in the battle with Seattle and San Francisco for that. Meanwhile, the Falcons, they're done. They're just basically playing for pride. Can the Rams go out and take care of the business they need to and things fall their way to win the West? Let's find out. Okay. So a couple games that have playoff contention stuff and division stuff in it gets posted, all that stuff. So we'll get it taken care of. But that's it, guys. That's the schedule for week 17. Me and John have some differences for the pick challenge, which we have going on right now. Let me get rid of this ticker. Okay, so for week 17, our differences. First one is the Panthers and Seahawks. John took the Seahawks. I took the Panthers. For the Giants and Raiders, I took the Giants. John took the Raiders. For the Eagles and Bills, I took the Eagles. John took the Bills. And for the Falcons-Rams, John took the Rams. I took the Falcons. And those are all of our differentials for this week. And the Texans-Chargers. I took the Texans. John took the Chargers. So we do have 5 differentials this week. John is up by 1. We'll have to see if he can get it. So let's find out. Tuesday, we will be doing our predictions for the college football playoff. So, yeah. But that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Please make sure you're heading over to all of the Huddle Hub social medias over on X, TikTok, and YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit the follow button on the X and TikTok. You're going to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. That's how you follow. And make sure you're hitting that follow button on the Twitch channel as well. All of the social media links are in the bio on the Twitch channel. You just hit the one that you desire to go to. But because I know everybody doesn't use every social media, so that's why I say the one you desire to go to. And please help us build the Huddle Hub podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. It would definitely be appreciated. Plus, if you want to follow me on social media, Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, MetalMike714. TikTok, I do video game lives, Fortnite. Other than that, I really don't do much on social media alone. All my social media creating is here on the show. So please, if you want to go follow me, go follow me. It would be appreciated. See you guys in my TikTok lives. But I do also do my Road to Glory. I'm doing my college football Road to Glory. John does all of the video game content for the Huddle Hub podcast, all the editing and everything like that. So he takes care of all that. Go over to the Huddle Hub's YouTube channel and check out all of the video game content, our college football dynasty, our Madden franchise, and then both of our individual Road to Glories. So go check those out, guys, please. I might be live a little later on, probably in the next hour or two, doing my Road to Glory. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. But if I do, I'll be live. Come check it out. We'd definitely appreciate it. If I don't see you guys, though, in any lives, if I don't go live, if I decide not to go live, then, you guys will see me again live sometime. I'm sure I will do a live, though. I'm sure of it. I'll get bored this afternoon, and I'll decide to do one. But be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. We'll see you on the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself and John, giving you guys our predictions for the college football playoff quarterfinals and running down our recap of Week 17 of the NFL. Until then, have a great one, guys. Have a great weekend. Deuces.